Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that the life you've been living is just average. Comfortable, safe, predictable, but average. Now, what if I told you that average was never your destiny? That somewhere deep inside you is a fire, a force, a calling that refuses to be dimmed by society's limits, by fear, or by doubt? You were not born to blend in. You were not born to settle. You were born to stand tall, to push boundaries, to shatter expectations, and to leave a mark that no one else could leave. Today is not just another day. It's the day you choose to step into your power, to claim the greatness that was written into your DNA the moment you were born. Every challenge, every setback, every moment that tried to convince you that you're ordinary was simply a test, preparing you to rise beyond it. Because inside of you is something extraordinary waiting to be unleashed, and the world is waiting for you to ignite. Every human being is born with a unique set of gifts, talents, and abilities, and yet far too many people go through life living beneath their true potential, accepting a version of themselves that is comfortable but unremarkable. The first key to realizing that you weren't born to be average is embracing your unique potential and understanding that the very qualities that make you different are the qualities that give you power. Society often tries to categorize people, to measure success by standardized benchmarks, to tell us what is normal and what is acceptable. But extraordinary individuals refuse to accept those boundaries. They understand that their uniqueness is not a liability, it is an advantage. Every struggle, every passion, every quirk, and every curiosity is a piece of a larger puzzle that, when fully realized, becomes a life of impact and fulfillment. The moment you begin to acknowledge your strengths and embrace your individuality, you start to operate from a position of authenticity and purpose. You begin to see that there is no one else who can contribute to the world in the way that you can. This is not arrogance, it is clarity. When you focus on what makes you exceptional rather than what makes you ordinary, you shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. You begin to recognize that your ideas, your creativity, and your energy have value and that the world needs them. It is easy to compare yourself to others and think that someone else is better, smarter, or more capable, but the truth is that comparison diminishes your focus and weakens your confidence. The reality is that the world does not need a copy of anyone else. It needs the full expression of you. To embrace your potential, you must also confront the fear and self-doubt that hold you back. It takes courage to acknowledge your strengths, and even more courage to pursue them relentlessly. Most people avoid this because they fear failure, criticism, or rejection, but these fears are indicators that you are standing at the edge of your growth. Every great life story begins with a recognition that average is not acceptable, that settling for less than your full potential is a waste of the one life you have been given. The process of discovering and embracing your potential is continuous. It requires self-reflection, honesty, and a willingness to invest time and energy into developing your skills and understanding your passions. It requires surrounding yourself with people who elevate you, mentors who challenge you, and experiences that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. When you take ownership of your unique abilities, you stop waiting for permission or validation from others. You realize that the power to shape your life has always been within you, and the more you act from that understanding, the more unstoppable you become. Recognizing your potential also means understanding that your impact can extend beyond your personal achievements. By operating at your highest level, you inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that transforms communities and societies. The choices you make, the effort you invest, and the risks you take all stem from a clear sense of who you are and what you are capable of achieving. And once you fully embrace that, nothing in life feels beyond your reach. Breaking free from limiting beliefs is one of the most powerful steps a person can take toward living a life that transcends average. From the moment we are born, we are surrounded by messages, both subtle and overt, about what is possible and what is not. Family, friends, teachers, society, and even media constantly feed ideas of what we should aim for, how we should behave, and what is realistic. Over time, these messages can become internalized, forming a framework of beliefs that unconsciously governs our decisions and actions. Many people walk through life carrying the weight of these limitations, thinking that certain dreams are unattainable, that certain goals are unrealistic, or that their circumstances define their potential. Limiting beliefs act like invisible chains, holding us back from exploring the fullness of our capabilities. They convince us that we are not smart enough, not talented enough, or not worthy of success. They whisper in our minds that failure is inevitable, and that striving for greatness is dangerous or impossible. But the truth is that these beliefs are not facts. They are perceptions, often inherited from others, that have no intrinsic power unless we give it to them. To break free from these mental constraints, the first step is awareness. You must begin to observe the stories you tell yourself, the doubts that creep into your mind, and the excuses that have become habitual. Awareness allows you to distinguish between what is real and what is simply a narrative that has been repeated over time. Once you recognize these limiting beliefs, the next step is to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought absolutely true? Who told me this? What evidence exists that proves otherwise? When you question these beliefs, you weaken their grip and open the door to new possibilities. Replacing limiting beliefs requires deliberate effort. It involves creating new mental scripts that affirm your potential, remind you of past successes, and reinforce your ability to grow and overcome obstacles. Positive reinforcement, visualization, and surrounding yourself with people who elevate and inspire you are essential components of this process. Breaking free from limiting beliefs also requires action. Beliefs are often rooted in fear, and fear loses power when it is confronted through deliberate steps. Every time you act despite doubt, every time you push beyond comfort, you create evidence that your limiting beliefs are false. Over time, these actions reshape your mind and your identity. This transformation is not instantaneous. It is a journey of persistence and resilience. The more you confront and dismantle these mental barriers, the more you realize that the only thing truly standing between you and an extraordinary life is the belief that you cannot achieve it. Once you shed these self-imposed limitations, you begin to think bigger, act bolder, and pursue your goals with clarity and conviction. You understand that your past, your environment, or what others have told you does not dictate your future, and you start to step into a reality where your potential is only limited by the scope of your imagination. Each moment of courage, each choice to defy old patterns, moves you closer to a life defined not by average, but by purpose, excellence, and possibility. Commitment to massive action is the bridge between knowing your potential and actually realizing it. Too often, people dream about greatness, visualize the life they want, and talk about change, but their actions remain small, scattered, or inconsistent. The truth is that extraordinary results never come from comfort, hesitation, or half-hearted effort. They come from bold, relentless, and focused action taken every single day toward a clearly defined goal. Massive action is not just doing more. It is doing what matters most, prioritizing tasks that move the needle, and refusing to be distracted by trivial or meaningless activities. It requires discipline, courage, and a mindset that sees every challenge as an opportunity rather than an obstacle. When you commit to massive action, you align your behavior with your highest intentions, and you stop waiting for external circumstances to be perfect before you act. Most people wait for motivation, for the stars to align, or for the right time, but massive action recognizes that waiting is a trap that keeps potential locked away. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Every step you take, no matter how small, compounds over time and builds the foundation for breakthroughs that seem impossible until they happen. Massive action also demands that you embrace discomfort. Growth is rarely comfortable, and significant progress often requires doing things others are unwilling to do. It means pushing past fear, self-doubt, and the temptation to settle. It means taking risks, making bold decisions, and being willing to fail, because failure is not a stopping point. It is feedback that informs your next move. Action without clarity can lead to busyness without progress, so massive action must be purposeful. It is not enough to simply work hard. You must work with intention toward goals that are meaningful and aligned with your values. This clarity ensures that every effort counts and that your energy is invested in outcomes that matter. Committing to massive action also involves resilience. The path to extraordinary achievement is rarely smooth. There will be setbacks, criticism, and obstacles that test your resolve, but those who persist, adjust, and continue to push forward are the ones who break through average and achieve remarkable results. Another key aspect of massive action is consistency. Small, deliberate actions repeated over time often yield more transformative results than sporadic bursts of effort. Consistency builds skill, confidence, and credibility, and it demonstrates a commitment to yourself and your vision that cannot be ignored. Finally, massive action is contagious. When you move boldly, take decisive steps, and refuse to settle, you inspire others to do the same. Your energy and determination ripple outward, attracting opportunities, allies, and resources that accelerate your progress. It is in this relentless pursuit of purpose-driven action that ordinary lives are transformed into extraordinary ones, where dreams are no longer abstract ideas but lived realities, and where average is left behind in favor of achievement, impact, and fulfillment. The power of mindset is one of the most critical determinants of whether a person lives an extraordinary life or settles for average. Mindset shapes the way we perceive the world, interpret events, and respond to challenges. It is the lens through which we experience every situation, and it can either empower us to rise above limitations or confine us to mediocrity. People who embrace a growth-oriented mindset understand that their abilities, intelligence, and circumstances are not fixed. They are malleable, shaped by effort, learning, and persistence. They see setbacks not as failures, but as feedback, as opportunities to learn, adapt, and improve. In contrast, a fixed mindset traps people in self-imposed limitations, convincing them that their talents, skills, or circumstances define what is possible. Those who believe they are just average accept that their potential is capped and often avoid risks or challenges for fear of failure. Shifting to a powerful, expansive mindset requires conscious effort and deliberate practice. It starts with self-awareness, recognizing the thoughts and beliefs that have unconsciously guided your behavior and assessing whether they serve your highest goals. Once you identify limiting patterns, you can begin to challenge them by reframing your thoughts and focusing on possibilities rather than obstacles. Visualization is a particularly effective tool for cultivating a powerful mindset. By vividly imagining the life you want, the goals you aim to achieve, and the person you aspire to become, you prime your brain to recognize opportunities and take action aligned with that vision. Affirmations and intentional self-talk reinforce these mental patterns, replacing doubt and negativity with confidence and determination. Surrounding yourself with influences that expand your thinking is also crucial. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, and the environments you inhabit all shape your beliefs and expectations. Immersing yourself in positive, growth-oriented influences strengthens your mindset and encourages you to adopt behaviors that reflect high standards and ambition. Another essential component is resilience. A powerful mindset equips you to handle adversity with grace, to maintain focus in the face of distractions, and to persist when others give up. It fosters emotional intelligence, helping you manage fear, frustration, and self-doubt in ways that support progress rather than hinder it. Mindset also drives the decisions you make daily, from how you prioritize your time to the risks you are willing to take. Those with an empowering mindset approach challenges with creativity, seek solutions rather than excuses, and maintain a sense of purpose that fuels sustained effort. By cultivating a mindset grounded in growth, possibility, and resilience, you lay the foundation for extraordinary achievement. It transforms obstacles into stepping stones, criticism into insight, and uncertainty into opportunity. It allows you to operate from a place of confidence and clarity, consistently making choices that align with your highest potential, and it ensures that your thoughts propel you forward rather than hold you back, ultimately creating a life that reflects the vast capabilities inherent within you. Inspiring others through your excellence is a natural extension of living beyond average, because the energy, actions, and achievements of one individual have a ripple effect that can transform entire communities. When you refuse to settle for mediocrity and choose instead to pursue your highest potential, you not only elevate your own life, but also create a standard for those around you. People are drawn to excellence. They are influenced by it, motivated by it, and often inspired to step beyond their own limitations simply by witnessing what is possible. Every time you demonstrate courage, commitment, and resilience, you provide a living example that ordinary boundaries are meant to be challenged. This influence does not require perfection or fame. It requires authenticity, consistency, and the willingness to operate at your best, even when no one is watching. Excellence is contagious because it communicates a message that actions matter, that effort produces results, and that each individual has the power to impact their own life and the lives of others. When you operate at a high level, people begin to see what is achievable, and this inspires them to raise their own standards. Your accomplishments can ignite the spark of possibility in someone else, encouraging them to pursue dreams they may have thought were out of reach. This is why living beyond average is not a solitary journey. It is inherently relational. The energy, attitude, and mindset you cultivate affect those you encounter daily. whether they are family members, colleagues, friends, or strangers. Leadership is not defined by a title or position, but by influence. And the most impactful leaders lead by example, demonstrating through their choices and behaviors what it means to strive for greatness. Inspiring others also involves sharing your knowledge, experiences, and insights in a way that empowers them to take action. Mentoring, coaching, encouraging, or simply offering a perspective that challenges conventional thinking can accelerate someone else's growth in ways that multiply the impact of your own efforts. When you combine personal excellence with a commitment to lift others, you create a culture of possibility and achievement that far exceeds what you could accomplish alone. Moreover, living beyond average fosters a sense of responsibility. The more you realize your potential, the more you understand that your influence carries weight and that your decisions can either elevate or limit those around you. By choosing excellence, integrity, and courage, you model behaviors that encourage others to adopt similar standards in their own lives. This creates a cycle of inspiration where one person's commitment to greatness motivates another to pursue their own, and that motivation spreads outward, touching countless lives. Ultimately, inspiring others through your excellence is about living fully and authentically while recognizing that your actions ripple beyond your personal sphere. It is about taking ownership of your gifts, using them to create value, and showing others through consistent action that extraordinary lives are not only possible but attainable, and that the choice to refuse mediocrity can transform not only your destiny but the potential of everyone you influence.